He said, if you're going to blame me for that, you can blame me for, I'll blame you for Watergate also. We have here, just stepped out, Ronald Nessen, who is the presidential press secretary. He's talking now, so we'll listen in. What's going on in there?
I don't know any more about it than you do, Doug. I guess they were down to the last few minutes, and the sound suddenly cut out, but I don't know what the explanation is.
And so what happens now? Will the debates continue, or?
I don't know. We were listening upstairs on the monitor, and Ed Newman wasn't quite clear what was going to happen either.
You have no contingency plan, obviously, for such a thing to happen.
I think you're supposed to be the one with a contingency plan. We don't know what happened, and I guess the president will wait and let those putting on the debates decide what to do.
Well, you're sitting in there with some members of the president's administration, the Secretary of Transportation, Coleman, Ambassador to the United Nations, Scranton, you yourself, Mr. Hartman, his speechwriter. What's your impression? How do you think your guys doing so far?
Well, we think we talked, we had a little time to talk after the sound went off, and we sort of polled each other. And everybody came to the same conclusion, and that is that it was a clear-cut victory for the president.
Well, I don't think anybody would be surprised to hear, being partisan, you're saying that. Is this debate tougher, in your opinion, than you thought it would be? Some pretty tough exchanges in there, it seems to us.
Well, I thought the president came across, though. I agree the questions were tough, and the reporters were well prepared and had done a lot of research. But I think the president came across, to us watching anyhow, as being in command of the situation, in control. It seemed to me he had the opportunity through the tough questions to demonstrate experience, his background, his knowledge, and his ability.
Well, the same thing, I think, also could be said for Governor Carter. At least he was spouting a lot of facts and figures. We haven't had all of these debates yet, Mr. Nessen. At least we haven't had the completion of this one. How much time did we get cut out on? 12, 15 minutes. Do you think that some provision could be made for the viewing public to hear what's over, what was left out?
Well, the president said from the very beginning, Doug, and the reason that he wanted to do the debates in the first place, and the reason he wanted them to be done at great length, 90 minutes at a minimum, was because he felt the time was needed to explore issues in depth. And I think they were explored in depth tonight.
Thank you very much. This is Press Secretary Ronald Nessen. Now, over just on the other side, to the left, is a man who I think will say that he thinks that Jimmy Carter was as clear a winner as Mr. Nessen thinks Mr. Ford was, and that is the Democratic Party Chairman, Robert Strauss, who is already talking, so let's listen into what he's saying.
I think it was a good night for the American people, a great night for Jimmy Carter.
Did you think that either man looked particularly nervous or ill at ease?
No, I didn't think either one of them looked nervous or ill at ease. I thought this. They both handled their questions well.
Just trying to get you in our picture, too.
I think that they both handled the questions well. As I said, I thought the president looked programmed. I thought Governor Carter looked, on the contrary, he looked responsive, and they both fielded questions well. And I think Governor Carter clearly demonstrated what he wanted to demonstrate, an ability to deal with issues facing this country.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You calling winners and losers, Robert Strauss? You're obviously saying that you think Jimmy Carter won this debate.
Well, I said this. I thought there were two winners. I think the American public won because they got a chance to see this debate and see these two men. I also think they both handled their questions well. I think Governor Carter...
I understand we're back with the debate. Excuse me, Robert Strauss. Now let's go back to the auditorium for President Ford, Mr. Carter.
Tell them to hurry up. We're going to win the next one also, Bob.
Thank you for your kind words. Thank you for your kind words.
I think I've got an anti-NBC.
Well, we thought we had it, but we don't. We still don't know what's wrong nor where. We hoped we'd have it back by now, but we don't. Nor do I know if they will continue the debates long enough to make up for the lost time. So this will be, we will all learn whatever we learn together. I don't know anything. The President and Mr. Carter. President, Mr. Carter are waiting while whatever is wrong, wherever it is not in our audio, as you've heard from Doug Kiker just outside the theater. It's in the sound coming from the rostrum there. And we don't know what the problem is, but they're waiting. We're getting a lot of miscellaneous conversation from various places in the hall, but not the conversation we went there to listen to, which was the President and Mr. Carter, of course. It was, as you've heard, a pretty lively debate, each one landing a few blows on the other, though I don't think anyone was permanently disabled, politically speaking.